Very, very interesting. There is this sense, I've been hearing this for months now, just pay everybody in Dallas. Pay Zeke and pay DeMarcus Lawrence and pay Jalen Smith and pay Amari Cooper and pay Dak. It's just, money is like a waterfall. Money's just flying everywhere. But, of course, it's a salary cap league, and unlike the NBA, which is a salary cap league, there's not a lot of exceptions and loopholes. It's kind of a hard cap league. So what do you know? There's a site called Over the Cap. And Over the Cap has discovered that one team in the NFL has nearly 41% of its snaps by its players, that the players are free agents at the end of the year. And do you know what team that is? The Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys, Anthony Brown, Byron Jones, Jeff Heath, Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, they're all pending free agents. Well, you got to get a break on somebody, folks. You got to get a break on one of these contracts. And so Jerry Jones has a number. This is what I believe. He's got a number, and he paid Zeke early. He paid the left tackle years ago, Tyron Smith, early. He paid the athletic linebacker, Jalen Smith, early. He paid DeMarcus Lawrence, the pass rusher, early, and he has waited on Dak, the most important position, because I believe Jerry is smart. Jerry's been doing this a long time. He was an oil maverick early. What do they call him? A wildcatter. He has been negotiating for years and years, and he has a number. And I just want you to think about this for a second. So if you were Jerry and you had a number, you would be hoping to have the most leverage, right? I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to sign Dak Prescott after the Miami game or the New York Giant game, right? That would not be the week that you call Dak's agent and go, yeah, Dak just threw for 300 yards and had a perfect passer rating. Let's talk contract. I want you to look at the Cowboys contract. Now, remember, November, it gets cold and windy and rainy, and the Cowboys playing nice indoor weather. Look at that. Look at the upcoming schedule starting October 20th. Philadelphia, Minnesota, Detroit, New England, Buffalo, at Chicago. New England's the number 1 rated defense. Chicago's the number 2 rated defense. Buffalo's the number 3 rated defense. Minnesota's the number 5 rated defense. Philadelphia's got a great pass rush. And Detroit's got Matt Patricia playing their butt off. Jerry Jones looks at that schedule and thinks, oh, no. I'll get on the phone right after that Chicago game, December 5th, 9 degrees, windy, rainy, cold. Dak gets shut down to 2 field goals. That's when you call the agent and go, hi, I've been so busy. Can we sit down this morning and talk about Dak's contract? Because I look at this Over the Cap site. Dallas has more players, more snaps. 41% of their snaps this year have been played by guys who are pending free agents. The contracts are all up. Jerry's got to get a break on one of these deals. This is the NFL. It's a hard salary cap. It's not the NBA where you got Larry Bird exemption, this loophole. It doesn't work that way. It's hard cap. Here's the number. Look at the Cowboys schedule. And sometimes you get breaks in life, sometimes you don't. This has become a timing issue. You're going to pay Dak, and Dak's your future quarterback. So that's not the discussion here. Like, don't worry about that. But now it's just timing and leverage. And Jerry's looking at it and going, I play the number 1 defense, the 2 defense, the 3 defense, the 4 defense. Oh, what do you know? They're outside there. They're outside there. After that Chicago game, that's when you call the agent. You know what? I have been so busy. I feel terrible. I feel terrible about this. Let's sit down tomorrow over a cold draft beer and knock that contract out. As Dak had a 34.8 passer rating. So I just think it's very interesting, this waterfall of money. Jerry's got to get a discount somewhere, and we know he's going to sign Dak, and we know Dak's not going anywhere, and we know Dak's getting paid. Jerry, the only thing he has to cling to is timing. Sure feels like the timing would be good just after that Bears game. OBJ, you know what I've said for years about wide receivers. They're icing, they're not the cake. If your offensive line's bad, the cake, it doesn't matter what the icing is. The icing can't save a terrible cake. You can't just eat icing. You can eat a lot of cakes without the icing. But icing does make, generally, the cake better. But you got to get other stuff solved first. Do not spend big money on icing if your cake's crappy. Once the cake's good, then you can go get icing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? That's an easy one to figure out. So Freddie Kitchens was asked about icing yesterday at the press conference. The Cleveland media is like, you're not targeting OBJ. Why won't you throw to OBJ and Freddie Kitchens? I'm starting to really like this guy. He is so bottom line and relatable. Freddie Kitchens is like, what are you guys looking for? Here's the truth is. So let's go look at his 5 games. The targets, the catches, the yards. So what you're going to notice here is nothing, and that's the point. So in week 1, oh my God, he was targeted a ton, and the team was awful and got blown out. In week 2, he was targeted a ton, had his biggest game, and the team won. And then in week 3, they targeted him a lot, and they lost. And then week 4, they started scaling back the targets, and they won. And then week 5, they really scaled back, and they were terrible. There is no trend. There is no correlation. There is no cause and effect. They target him a lot, they're terrible. They target him a lot, they win. They target him very little, they win. They target him very little on Monday, they get crushed. He's talented. There's no correlation to his performance to anything that happens on the scoreboard. Yet we do have a correlation with this team. That when Baker Mayfield is sacked multiple times, the Browns are 3-8. That's a problem. So when he's not sacked or sacked just once, this is a playoff team. They're 5-2. When they're sacked 2 or more times, they're 3-8. It's not just about paying your most talented players. That's not what you do in the NFL. There's a lot of talented players I'd let go. It's paying talented players who correlate to wins. The Cowboys feel Zeke equals more wins. The Eagles feel Fletcher Cox equals more wins, and Carson Wentz. So you have an issue in Cleveland. Oh, wow. When we don't protect Baker, we're terrible. When we give OBJ huge looks or small, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. This is why I'll double down on it. You've got plenty of weapons. It's not about paying your most talented people. That's not what sports is about. You pay LeBron because he translates to wins. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and James Harden. That's why I wouldn't pay Russell Westbrook as much. That's why I wouldn't pay Ben Simmons as much. In the NFL, OBJ is talented. But go look at his 5 games. Big game, little game, lots of targets, no targets. Doesn't matter. And this is not only true in Cleveland, it was identical in New York, where the Giants were often worse on his big games than they were when he was rarely targeted. Cleveland, you've got a fixable issue. Figure out the cake before you become embedded with the icing. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.